Hi guys, welcome back. And so you could see she's lightening up already. Now I need to bleach the two front sections. So I'm gonna get a fresh batch, gonna mix a fresh batch of bleach, and it's a 1 to 2 ratio of a powder to developer. And then I'm gonna go back and then do the roots. So my top three for this red to blonde transformation is my mom. As previously stated in the video, I remember her being blonde when I was in the fourth grade, and she was a golden blonde. And then also Madonna, because I've always loved Madonna's hair, and then also Donna Summer. Like Donna Summer had that golden blonde back in the early '90s, and so I want to emulate that. And my doll head, as you see, she has the same complexion as Donna Summer, so I want to do it real, give her a really nice warm blonde, put some dark blonde on the bottom, and then like down the line, I'm gonna put some extensions and make it a little longer, and then she's gonna have a nice mix of the light blonde and the dark blonde. Okay, so I'm mixing my bleach. It's a little thick. Now it's good. Perfect ratio of developer to peroxide. And I'm gonna take ultra thin sections. Yeah, this is exciting. She's lifting beautifully already. We're getting all this orange out of her hair, which is good. They say red's the most difficult color. It's been said that brunette to blonde is easier than going from red to blonde because red can be a very stubborn color. But really, I think it's just about the technique and the application, honestly. And I just feel like once you understand the basics of the color, you know, I feel like there's no, it's unlimited, like I feel like the sky's the limit, honestly, when it comes to hair coloring. Okay, so, and I'm fully saturating where it's the most orangey. This is a good base color actually if you want to go dark blonde. You would just have to use the ash color. But honestly, like if you want to be like a true blonde, we have to get this orange out. Like if this orange serves a purpose if you're going red, it creates like a nice base and you don't have to deal with the fadage of because you know how red tends to fade and it stains your towels. But blonde, if you want a true blonde, yeah, this orange has got to go. And also with this white bleach, you're working with your hair's natural underlying pigment. There is no blue or violet additive, so there is nothing that cuts out the orange. So it's like and actually, and it's good that we're not cutting out anything because I really want this blonde to be a warmer blonde. I don't know. I just like with my doll head's coloring on her skin tone. I don't see her being an ashy or a platinum. I see her being more on the warmer side. And I got one of each. Say hi, Platinum. Oh, she's so majestic, isn't she? All right, so just and I can chill a little bit because we're only using 20 volume, and I like to talk. And when you take thin sections, it's the least damaging because you're taking individual strands of hair. And it's two birds with one stone. Not only are you getting a better lift, you're also preserving as much length as possible because you know how blondes tend to break. But yeah, I remember that golden blonde that my mom had. It was so beautiful. I remember I was like in the when I was in the fourth grade, she had that like Natasha Richardson like gold blonde. And you know what's hilarious? She lasted about 8 weeks. Couldn't deal with her touch ups, and before you know it, she was back to brunette. All that, after all those like bleach outs and tones, back to yeah. My mom was very interesting that way. You know, she loved being. I knew she was a blonde at heart, but she just couldn't. The upkeep because she was a paralegal, and she worked so hard. She didn't have time for herself, and so I get it. It was a lot. It's a funny story that I had with when I made my mom's hair that platinum one time is that what she wanted to go back to brown, and I remember mixing the color and I was like, "No, it's so beautiful. Why do I have to? I don't want to make it brown." And what was hilarious was as a because my mom didn't know that in order to go from platinum blonde to brown you would have to dye your hair like this reddish color first, like this orangey color as a filler, and then you put the brown over it, because if you don't do that you're going to end up with green hair, because white plus brown equals green. And I told her about it, and she didn't listen. So she applied the brown over the platinum blonde, and she was green, like totally, and like in hysterics. And she's like, "Anthony, can you fix this for me?" And I was like, "Sure." So I went to the beauty supply, and at that point, because her hair was green, I got a dark auburn, like I think, yeah, it was like a level 4 auburn, and I used that to take care of the green. And then I also used the medium golden brown or like a medium chocolate brown, one of those two. And I mixed those two together and left it on her hair for about an hour. And before you knew it, the green was gone and she was that nice brown. And then I told her that, that heartache would have been spared if you just listened to me and if you just let me make your hair that copper blonde first before I put the brown over the copper blonde. And from that point on, whatever I said, it went. Anything I said went. And she never questioned me again from that point on. So it was awesome that I showed her that I actually, this is something that I actually do quite well. I was a very introverted child, and in high school I didn't have very many friends because I grew up in the west side of Los Angeles, and you know how pretentious and how narcissistic people can be in that part in that part of LA. And so I just kept to myself, and so always my artistic outlets was yeah, doing hair and cooking and just anything that was artsy. It was like, count me in. And I remember when, like, on days where I would be discouraged, I would watch the movie Legally Blonde with Reese Witherspoon, and it would just give me hope for myself and for my future, because she was quite the underdog and people weren't very kind to her, and she ended up like proving everybody wrong at the end. So that's the way to do it. If somebody tells you you can't do something, you be like, watch me. Don't ever let other people's impose their limitations onto you. Seriously. I'm 33 and I still like internalize things from time to time, but I'm getting better at it. One thing I know for sure is that I'm a good colorist and I'm a good paralegal, and those two things I don't think anybody can take away from me. And I also was a good son to my mom. So, I know I'm much more than the outside. So we're on our way. being very methodical of how I'm painting the bleach on her hair. I could see a lot of this, she's lightening up already, which is great. Can't wait to do the roots. Okay, so here she has previous highlights. So I'm going to take my comb and I'm going to just weave out where I see where it's super brassy. And let me show you this. I think this is going to be really cool. So you see where it's highlighted here? We're leaving that out. And the hair that I'm holding in my hand, that's the bleach. That's gonna get the bleach. Okay, so that's nice and secure. And now I take another section. Really happy with how her hair is holding up. I'm going to condition it a lot actually to, because I know how the bleach dries out the hair, so I'm going to condition it. I'm going to make it like super nice once we tone it. I can't wait to see what it looks like once it's toned and styled and everything. Same thing here. I see previous blonde pieces, and I don't want to damage the hair, so I'm going to take my comb and I'm going to take a slice right here, and this slice is going to get the bleach. Very important when you're bleaching highlighted hair, you weave or you slice the highlighted bits and pieces out, because bleach on top of bleach, that's a recipe for disaster. It causes a chemical haircut and we don't want that. Same thing with, okay, I see some parts are really nice and blonde and others are very orangey. So I'm gonna weave it all, yeah. Okay. So these two weaves right here are gonna get bleached. And then I'm gonna go back and bleach those once we get everything else nice and light. Right now I'm just prioritizing where it's like the most orangey. And also with taking these individual strands is a lot less damaging. With my comb, I hook it up, weave it in, weave it out, weave it in, weave it out, weave it in, weave it out, weave it in, weave it out. Okay. Okay, and this right here is to be bleached. as it's really orangey here, so this hair needs to be re-bleached too. So let me show you guys what I did. Okay, so her hair is nicely saturated with the bleach, and now it's on to this section over here, and I'll be right back. Yeah.